All right, so one of the first things I wanted to go over is, uh, I, and did all of you see the video that I recorded to start the class in the first the first module of the class? Did you see the video that gave the overview of the class? Yes? No?
For me, I don't think so. I did watch, I think maybe through part of it, but I'm not sure if I finished it.
Okay, yeah, so it's really important before every lesson or before every module, I'm going to be doing a overview video. It's really important that you watch it to uh, get information about how to do the assigned lessons and what we're doing with the class. But this is a list of the modules that we're going to be having in class. So the first 2 weeks we're going to spend on getting started with e-commerce. And so I had you introduce yourselves and then read an article about what e-commerce is and asked you to give some of your thoughts about that and share some of your experiences with e-commerce. So that was the very first lesson that was due last Sunday. And then the one that's due this coming Sunday is one where you need to actually pick 3 things that you would want to promote or sell online and pick them based on strategies. There's eight strategies that we're going to be talking about that I would like you to utilize to select what you're going to sell online. And so all of you, not all of you, but some of you already have an online business, and that's fine. So you can tell us why you picked that online business and what strategy out of the 8 that you used to pick it. But I still want you to pick 2 more things just for the practice of doing it and using different strategies to pick what you're going to sell online. So that's I'm going to talk a little bit in more detail about that in a few minutes, but that's this first week is getting started, the first 2 weeks. And then the next 2 weeks, we're going to be going over web technology. So these are the methods that you use to sell online, and we do a compare and contrast of different methods to sell online. And at this time, you'll also be getting your account with Shopify. And I'm going to have you make a start using Shopify. And then the next module, we're going to focus on selling on the web. So one of the things that we're going to be doing when we do this module is we're going to be talking about the elements for having a web presence, and then some other really important things that you should know about selling on the web. Then after that, we're going to spend 2 weeks on search engine optimization, which is SEO. And you're going to be doing a couple of exercises in the area of search engine optimization. And so let me ask this question at this time. How many of you have a Google Keywords account? Any of you?
I don't believe I do. No.
Okay, so none of you do have one.
You mean Google AdWords?
Yeah, so yeah, right, Google AdWords, yeah, right.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one.
Okay, great.
I have one too, but I've never learned how to use it.
Oh, okay, great. So yeah, we're going to be talking about that. And then the next module, we're going to spend 2 weeks on social networking. So we'll be learning about that and doing an exercise. And when the reason why I devote 2 weeks to each of these is mainly what I want to do is spend a week learning about something and then a week applying what you learn. That's the idea behind the 2 week modules for each of these. And then we're going to be talking about doing business online And some of the things we're going to be covering in doing business online is the how to get paid online. So what are the best tools to use to make sure that you get paid online, and then legal issues that are involved with doing business on the internet. So, for instance, there's a lot of things that people need to be aware of in the legal realm that could really trip you up if you don't dot all your I's and cross all your T's. And then the last module will be planning for e-commerce. And for this, you'll be actually making a business strategy plan for e-commerce and learning about some other elements that are important in planning for e-commerce. And then the last 2 or 3 weeks of the course will be spent, the last 3 weeks of the course will be spent working on your final project, which will be a e-commerce site. So any questions on that so far?
I have a few. So
Sure.
one, you said each module we should, well, of course, listen to your announcement video concerning the details of said module.
Right.
But when it comes to our final, is it going to be a cumulative final, or I didn't hear
It's
you.
a final project.
Okay.
It's a final project.
With components from each module?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Right,
And
thank
then, yeah, so one of the things that I'm doing this semester, this is the first time I'm teaching the class without a textbook. And so it's new territory for me. I've been teaching the class in one form or another since like 1999. So I've been teaching some kind of e-commerce class for close to 16, 17 years.
Wow.
So over the time, I've accumulated a lot of information. Of course, now it's like every 2 or 3 years you have to throw everything out and start all over again. So it changes pretty rapidly. But I'm pretty dissatisfied with the current textbooks that are out there, and so I wanted to give it a shot. Trying to use existing materials that are online in the library and other sources, and also give you incremental projects to do that will be helping lead you up to doing your final project. And I haven't decided right now whether I'm going to do a midterm or not. I may throw a midterm in there, which would be a test, which would include multiple choice and some short essay questions. So that I haven't made up my mind yet, but that might go in. And if I do that, it would be sometime after the SEO module.
Okay, and based on what you just told me, I want to know, so you're composing each module like a week prior, and then you're kind of having that sent out and put on there for the whole week, and that's kind of how it'll go?
Well, actually, as I said, I've been teaching this class for a long time,
Yes.
so the modules are set mostly from my past classes.
Oh, okay. So
But I'm reworking them so that I can do it without referring to the textbook.
Cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Will there be any like cumulative assignments other than the final, or is it just going to be the final? Like, say you during module 2 or 3, say to the class, we're going to have a cumulative assignment now where it'll help us kind of compose these modules into something larger than what the final would have been. Would that be on the table too, or no? I'm just curious.
Yeah. So So what did you, well, yeah, like I said, I have a certain way of teaching the class. We haven't
Okay.
actually done that, but what would you have in mind to do?
Oh,
that?
I've just seen in the past.
What would help you?
Oh, well, I remember having this one brief experience where I had it was an MAT course, and it was basically designing a website from scratch. And the professor basically said, okay, we will kind of have this be your overview project and your final, which will essentially be peer reviewed throughout the semester while we go through elements of how to correctly add and display and also visit other various forms of coding on the website. And I thought that was a really interesting way of teaching it because it would help us kind of reflect on any of the mistakes that we're making as we're going through it, so that by the end product we came out with pretty different and interesting variations of how a website / blog / basically a business design should be. And I thought that was an interesting way to teach. I didn't know if you had something like that in mind, but it was something that really benefited me.
Yeah, so the way I've been doing things is I have people do a page at a time on their site, and then we look at what they did and provide comments, and then you get comments from your fellow student. And then based on the feedback that you receive by the time you do your final version of it, you would incorporate the feedback that you got throughout the semester.
Well, all right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's all I had.
Oh, okay. Great. Well, thank you. And so, so it sounds like some of you are not seeing the videos. So let me set this up. I'm going to set it up for the student view. Okay, so this should be something similar to what you're seeing on your own versions of Canvas. So what you should be doing is visiting the modules. This is where everything is at. So right now, there's this top module is the help module. This is where you can ask for help and get feedback from both me and from your fellow students. But you can always just send me an email if you need help with anything. But if you want to get help and bring it to the attention of your fellow students as well, you can put it up here where it says help. And then for module 1, if you guys haven't watched it, it starts with this video where I give an overview of the course and what to do for this particular module. So some of you didn't watch this video? I heard. Is that true?
I did watch the video.
Oh, okay. Was it helpful?
Yeah, it actually, I guess I can't pay attention to a lot of the stuff that is written or the written instructions. It's hard for me to understand them. So watching the video kind of clarified what I had already written before or read before.
Okay, great. So anyways, by now you should have all finished this and turned it in last Sunday. And then for the other module, this is module 1. So there's 4 different parts to this module. So the first 2 parts, the student survey and introductions, those were due last Sunday. And then what's due this Sunday is your brainstorming session. So again, there's a short video. This takes about 5 or 6 minutes, and it gives you an overview of what's due for this Sunday. And then I also have like a written introduction beneath it about the module this Sunday, and that's due this Sunday. So basically it's talking about how one of the things that people have trouble with when they're doing an online business is figuring out what the heck they want to sell online, what it is that they actually want to offer or promote online. And so what I'm doing is I'm providing these, there's 8 strategies that you can use to figure out what it is that you would like to sell online. And often it'll take weeks or months for people to actually go through it, but you have to do it in a few days for this class. At least get started with something. And as also what's mentioned in the introduction is, even if what you're going to be, you think you're going to be doing online, it doesn't really pan out. The important thing is to start somewhere, and you can incrementally change and improve what you're doing over time. So anyway, the big purpose of this is to get you started, but also to point out that there's different approaches that you can take to starting a business online. And so this article, What to Sell Online, 8 Strategies for Finding Your First Product, this comes from the Shopify blog. And this Shopify blog is fantastic. And once you get your Shopify account, you'll be getting this emailed to you. And it has all kinds of really fantastic tips and tricks for how to do business online. And this is one of them. So it talks about these 8 strategies, and finding opportunities and keywords, building an interesting and captivating brand, identifying a customer pain point, identifying customer passions, going with your passion, looking for an opportunity gap, and consider your experience, and capitalize on trends early. And so basically the part about keywords, what some people do is they don't pick products to sell online based on their own personal needs, or based on things that they think will sell well. They actually do research into what people are looking for. And so if you go to Google, you can find out how many times certain keywords are being accessed. And based on that, you can see what kind of interest that there is in a particular product, or some other opportunity to do business online. And so it's kind of almost a scientific method, and it gives an example here that Andrew Youderian did. And then the next one is to build an interesting and unique brand. And so taking a brand, it talks about a brand building opportunity, and it's different from an SEO approach. So the first one is more of a search engine optimization approach, SEO approach. And then brand building is more, involves your understanding of your customers. And so I think Carla, for instance, she knows wedding customers, right? And this might be something that would be a good approach for her wedding business, to build some kind of a brand that's based on your deep understanding of what your customers want. And it gives an example of that. And then the next thing is to identify a customer pain point. So, what this means is, that you understand something that's really bothering people that would be your potential customers, and that you build a business around relieving them of that thing that bothers them, or that pain. And here they give an example of a guy that started a business for people that grind their teeth. He created like a mouth guard for that. And by the way, that's something that actually I might need myself. And then they give another example of the fact that chew toys become destroyed so easily. This guy made a line of chew toys that last a long time. And then another one would be identify your customers' passions. So they give an example of golfers, people that are really dedicated to golfing are willing to spend a lot of money on golf products. And then there's other things that people might be really passionate about, like heavy metal music that combines Black Sabbath and The Cure. So you never know. And then, or you can go with your passion. You can start a business based on something that you really love and enjoy doing. So one semester, I had a guy who loved to create little designs, and then he put them on pins, and he was like just really good at creating these pin designs. And at the beginning of the semester, he started a business, and then by the end of the semester, he had sold $10,000 worth of these pins. So that was something that he really loved to do. And then look for an opportunity gap. So this would be something where you look at a certain kind of product or service, and you look at something that usually you want to pick something that's kind of popular, but you look for something that may not be covered already. And so they give an example here of a guy that went through all the Amazon ads and found out what people were complaining about for certain products, and he created products that were better and didn't have the same deficiencies. And another one is based on your life experience. If you're super knowledgeable about something, that might be a kind of business that you want to have online. And then the last one is capitalize on trends early. So I gave the example of putting a hot tub in a self-driving car. That might be a coming trend, but there's always things that are happening that some people are discovering early, and if you're an early discoverer or an early adopter of something, that might be something that you can do online and take advantage of. So can anybody think of any examples of a trend that's happening right now that could be a business? Anyone? Anyone?
Can you repeat the question again? A trend that's happening that can be a business?
Yeah, something that's, some new thing that's happening right now that, could potentially be a business in the future.
Oh, in the food industry, I actually have something to contribute.
Yeah, what about?
Recently, I was reading an article from a Dow executive that was penned essentially as a letter to say, we're changing the way we're making protein products. And I thought this was an interesting article, so I read. It was a very long article, but in summation, they were saying, oh, we're going to go from making meat, beef, chicken, poultry, these kinds of things, to a sub-Saharan African diet of bugs. And I thought it was interesting
Yeah.
because there's only two major companies that control where most of the wholesale food in the United States comes from and is transported to. And they basically have a lot of power, monopolistic power in this market. And I'm going to see a change in that where, you might see fried ants on the menu or beetles or bugs. And there's going to be an interesting market for people who are vegetarians, where essentially they're getting most of their protein now from a different meat source. But I see that as a insurgent market that's going to be changing. Just to give you that article I read, I think it was a month ago. So
okay. Yeah, see, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about, is something that's new and unexpected, perhaps, and something that people aren't taking advantage of yet. If you can be an early adopter or early get on that bandwagon early.
Oh yeah, I'm waiting for Cajun
there's money
spice.
to be made.
I'm waiting for Cajun spice ants, man. Somebody's gotta make it, please.
Okay, so basically those are the 8 things. And so what I want you to do with that is, let's see, I'll enlarge this. Is I want you to pick 3 of the strategies. Let's see if I can make this fit the space better. Okay, so what I'm going to ask you to do is to basically write 3 short paragraphs, and at the top of each paragraph in bold, put the strategy type that you're using and the description of your product. And here's an example that I provide: capitalizing on trends early, hot tubs for self-driving cars, or it could be Cajun flavored ants, fried ants. And so each paragraph should include a quote or a reference to the article that shows that you actually read the article and you understand it. And for that, it'll be a total of 50 points. So 34 points for the actual report, the 3-paragraph report. And as long as you follow the instructions and it's clear, concise, and well written, and then you'll get 5 points for no spelling, grammatical, punctuation, and capitalization errors, and you get 3 points for using the right heading, and then another 5 points by using quotes or references for the article. And then if you quote anything else, any other sources, make sure that you use the MLA standards to cite what it is that you're quoting, and I'm providing a link to the MLA standards. So any questions on this week's homework?
I have one.
Yes.
So as far as the instructions go, I'm not sure if you just said this. I was writing it down. MLA format, is that how you'd like it to be written?
MLA format for anything that you cite.
Okay.
So if you find another article somewhere, or you're making a reference to something else, make sure that you cite it using the MLA standards that you.
Okay. And
you say where the information came from.
Yeah.
and use the MLA standards to do it. And this gives you the link that shows you how to do those citations.
Okay. And for the proper heading, again, I want to know.
Yes, so the proper heading is basically just a bold heading where you put the strategy type and then the product description. So the strategy type colon and product description.
Thank you so much.
So here's an example that I provided. So does this sound like something that is helpful for you and all of you in trying to make a decision on what to sell online?
Yeah, I would agree.
Okay.
Actually, I do have a question.
Sure.
I'm still making some touch-ups on what I typed out, but I'm not seeing the option to actually turn it in on Canvas. I'm not sure if that's published yet.
Okay. When I get off the phone, I'll take a look at that and make sure that it's set up for you to be able to turn it in.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay, so I'm here if there's anything that you need, and we're going to do this again next week, and then after next week it will probably be every other week.
I did have a general question for the meeting.
Time it for the beginning of the module. Yes.
Okay. One, I want to know as format goes. I actually looked over here in the corner. There was a raise hand button.
Oh.
I actually went into the site. Should we use that from now on to?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can use it. Do you?
Let me try that right now.
Try it out. Let me see if I can see it. Oh yeah, it says here.
Okay, so
it says you raised your hand. Yeah, you can use that. Sure.
Okay, cool.
That would be just fine.
Okay. And secondly, you said the meetings are recorded, so we could review this if desired, or no?
Yes.
Okay, where will we find that? If you could.
I will post it on Canvas.
Okay. And that'll just be its own thing on the side we could see?
Yeah, I will. I'll put a announcement that it's available and provide the link to it.
Cool. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you're welcome. And all of you, thank you so much for being in the class. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you too.
Okay, good night.
Good night. Thank you. Good night.
Good night.
Okay, bye.
Nice.